Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play RGFX Kaiserreich of South Africa. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, we're trying to make our industry less garbage. We're still trying to deal with all the effects of Black Monday. Which should hopefully be slowly replaced soon. We still have about probably a few months until that is ready to go. It is now January 1st, so we could, if we so chose, to join the International. But right now, I really do not think that's in our best interest. Purely because we got a massive Middle Africa on our borders, and they scare the hell out of me. So, if we can just avoid them at all costs, that would be for the best. We're still doing all right here in Indochina, helping out the Indochinese as much as we possibly can. I don't remember exactly when the Tet offensive actually fires, but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. Like, these guys don't stand a chance. We got, well, 4 divisions right there. They're all going to be killed sooner rather than later. And I'm assuming that the, if you look at the casualty rates, it's going to look pretty one-sided. 37,000. Actually, 37 to 25 really is not that big of a discrepancy. I really thought the numbers would be, you know, much, starker than that. Yeah, I just don't think we want to join the International quite yet. Of course, we want to at some point. Maybe once the second Weltkrieg actually begins, we'll have plans for that. I mean, how big is our border with the Middle Africa? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We need at least a 19 stack to cover the entirety of our border. And right now we have 5 divisions. So, as you might see, there is kind of an imbalance there, which we need to sort out ASAP. I think we gotta take the guy that just makes the weapons cheaper. Really, that makes most amount of sense. Why would he choose a company that has a little crown on it? I'm not too sure, but I'm not gonna ask about it. So, someone has just become sick. We still don't have a field marshal, so we should promote somebody to that role. You know, we probably won't have many tanks, so I'm going to promote you. Put you into Field Marshal. Congratulations for your promotion. And now it's 71,029. So the numbers are definitely getting a little bit more in favor of Indochina. They only have like 18 divisions now at most, which really is not a lot. The Indochinese Union actually might now have more troops than Germany's Asia. So, I mean, that works out quite well for us. I mean, if Germany's Asia loses their entire army before the second Weltkrieg, and they have to rebuild it all from scratch, I mean, that's just good for us. So, also, can I make you, like, not this weird arrow? Yes, thank you. I don't know why you have a weird arrow as your logo. We'll go for the Enfield Ontario, because we're still using, of course, British rifles. We'll research this. We'll switch our rifles over, because I don't believe these guns that we have now get the discount, because they were not built when we had the company in place. So we need to get the better rifles to actually get the 10% cheaper. Does it actually make them cheaper than these guns? Because you guys are 0.43. If we look at you, it'd be 0.45. So you're 0.02 more expensive, which really doesn't matter so much. We got standoff in America. We got the 4-way civil war. Fantastic. Apparently the, MacArthur thinks it's very important for them to focus on their navy at the moment. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that, but that's okay. And our tariffs will be done in 50 days. I have no idea what this is really going to do for us. I guess we'll find out in 50 days from now. Because how many troops do you guys have? I mean, the best case situation is that Middle Africa just collapses. Because you're still in charge. But I don't know if you have gone national populace yet. I mean, it's 1937. It might be a little bit early for you to do so. But we'll kind of see what you end up doing. Okay, yeah, so the Tet Offensive are now fired in the north. So now the Germans really should have no way of winning this war at this point. The rise of the Zod. So that means that, why can't I remember his name? Sanikov? Yeah, Sanikov is now in charge of Russia. If we go for excavation, that will unlock some of these, I believe. Excavation 2. At least some of these should be finished. Actually, let me just take a look. Because what I want probably is steel, right? One following must be true. Yes, we'll have to wait for this afterwards. Support the steel metal worker union. So you actually need level 2. You don't want level 1. And you don't need excavation 1 to research excavation 2. So yeah, just switch those over, please. But I think it works out just well for us. We can get the steel for free. Because do we actually produce any natural steel? We have 8 natural steel, which really is not a lot. We have a ton of chromium. But I don't think that means much to us. Okay, now the Americans are at war. So Hanoi is now... I mean, the Germans actually don't have any ports. So all of the German units right now in Germany, in Indochina, are completely screwed. They have no chance of winning whatsoever. So it's really just a matter of time. Do you think they have their entire army in this little area? Well, not... Okay, all of them except for the ones they keep trying to navally invade with. Those guys are just hanging out here. Peace conference over. Is that this war being finished? No, that's for Puerto Rico. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Because I can't imagine the Germans can't win. There's no way. They're all trapped right now in Laos. Democracy is repelled in the Philippines. Good for them. And we almost have 100 political power again. But I don't think there's really anything we'd want to go for. Like, war economy would be nice, but of course we cannot do that until we're at war, which makes sense. We can now train 14 divisions, which still is actually not a ton. Mostly because we only have 10 factories. Because we did lose some civilian factories when all the bourgeoisie fled the country, unfortunately. Concentrated Industry 2 is now finished. We have appropriated the mines. And divide the spoils of class war. The Second International Congress, of course we shall attend. There's never reason not to attend that event. And we'll finish researching Excavation 1 as well. We'll get both of them. Why not? It'll also make our steel even better in the future. Because you are surrounded and should be killed. There you go. I mean, this whole front is actually not covered. I'm surprised that Germany's Asia has not given up yet. Like, usually I feel like at this point they would have done the peace event. But I guess there's also the chance that you've rejected the peace offer. Yeah, they keep trying to land troops down here. Germany, it's never going to work. No matter how many times you try to get this naval invasion down here in Saigon to work, it's never going to work. Yeah, because that area is now completely under control. The Princely Federation has killed all the rebelling states in their south. And you're still pastoral autocrats, which worries me because it does mean that you're probably not going to collapse. And you collapsing would have been absolutely fantastic. Got a few medals in the event, but not enough for our team to be the winner. That's very unfortunate. But we're about to have 100 physical power, which means we can't get probably Chief of Army. Organization plus 10% I think is always pretty good. 10% attack, though, let's go with that one for now. And there we go. Their war has ended. With the success of the Indochinese Union, fantastic. Both similar ideology. And because we send a volunteer, they do appreciate us for that. And Bulgaria is about to be in a massive war. But that's kind of okay for us. We don't worry about that too much. We're going to delete all this, because at this point, I know Canada is not going to be invading us. Send our troops to this border here. what we really want is for at some point Japan to invade Germany. That'd be really, really nice for us. The founding of the Orlando's Boys Club. In the township of Orlando in Johannesburg, a group of migrant workers have founded the club to periodic practice the sport of football. While the sport has been in practice in South Africa since the late 19th century, even in an organized fashion, very few formal clubs have existed here so far. Furthermore, the reputation of as a British lower-class sport did not do it spread much good, as with its association with the Union of Britain. As such, new club in Orlando is one of the first of its kind and may turn out to be a turning point in the popularity of the sport. One thing can be assured, the inhabitants of Orlando seem to be enjoying the sport a lot. Is that a question? I don't know if that's a question, but okay. Gandhi's taken power in Africa, or in India. I don't know why. I think that's the second time now I've called India Africa, and I don't know why. Let's try to get one more factory going. We're only using 2 for construction, which is pretty bad. And we will switch our rifles up, because they're just better for us. Fall of New York City. So the CSA is doing pretty well, which is nice. Hungary is now at war with the Austrians. We'll see how that kind of turns out. Probably with the death of the Hungarians, if I had to take a guess. Since that usually seems to be the case. 1939 is a little bit too expensive, so let's go for the 1918. The 1918 support equipment seems alright. And your first job is going to be taking over Southwest Africa. Because it will reduce our front line a decent amount. So you've abdicated the Dutch throne. Does that mean that the, Are you still a kingdom, or are you now a republic? I'm not too sure yet. So Switzerland, do we know which way they went? Not as far as I can tell. But does that mean you guys are now going to go... Yeah, you guys did go for the SDAP, RSAP coalition, it looks like. So they could go Syndicliffs as well, which would be really nice for us. Assuming Germany doesn't just immediately invade them, of course. So you have now completed your focus. Which means we can start doing some industry stuff here as well. But I think we want to at least improve our production efficiency cap. So let's start to abolish segregation in South Africa. Is there anything else here that we want to do? Again, we don't want to join the International quite yet. I really don't think that's in our best interest. 18 steel in Natal is actually quite a bit. And probably will be more than enough that we need for... Not necessarily the rest of the campaign, but for a decent amount of it, I would say. So that's all looking pretty good for us. CNT as well. It'd be nice if they won their war. It's been a long time since CNTs actually have won any of their conflicts, I would say. So you're getting volunteers, you're getting volunteers. Everybody's getting volunteers right now, which is not a huge surprise. MacArthur, unsurprisingly as well, is going to absolutely get destroyed by all the other factions. I don't know if have we ever seen the AI actually win in as MacArthur? I don't believe so, and I would almost go on record as saying that it's impossible for the AI MacArthur to actually win their war. Because I've just never seen them do it. It just never happened in a million years. So, of course, you're still missing a lot of rifles. We're making 4 a day, but it's still a year and a half until you're ready to do anything, which is incredible. I mean, we did remove a lot of our bonuses here because we switched over to the better rifles, but I don't really think we had a choice. Again, they do cost roughly the same, so I don't think it harms us too much. So we want to outlaw the color bars next. Curtail reactionary activity, mobilization speed. I mean, research speed plus 5% is also not bad. Do we actually have a bonus, or are we having a penalty? The non-cooperation is a 10% penalty. We're still technically 2% above default, but it's not that good. War propaganda. I don't think we need that actually right now. I really don't think it's necessary. Let's see if Argentina wins their war. Of course, we want the Workers' Front to win, as well as Chile. We want both those guys to do as well as they possibly can. MacArthur actually still being alive is impressive to me. I mean, they still own New York City and they still own Washington, so it's going to be like a little bit longer until MacArthur falls. The preparation for the Great Tech Centenary. Next year, the Great Tech commenced exactly a century ago in 1838. Dutch-speaking settlers from the Cape Colony started trekking, migrating eastwards to escape the influence of British colonial administration, which at the time stretched roughly from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth, which evidently eventually directly led to the first creation of the Republic in Italia. It was now the province of Natal, and after its demise to that of the Orange Free State in the South African Republic, Transvaal. To celebrate the occasion, the Great Tech Centenary Committee has been formed. They are planning to organize the reenactment of the Great Trek with authentic ox wagons who will move from town to town, starting in Cape Town in August next year, to eventually arrive in Pretoria at the designed location in Dagon's Day, where the foundation of the Grand Volksstreger Monument is to be laid. Of course, the committee is expecting significant state support for this remembrance of Afrikaner history. We cannot allow a national trauma to be celebrated. So we can lose 10% sensibility, I'm assuming because we are syndicalist. They do not like that. Albania was annexed. Okay, good for them, I guess. So what do you want to do? Is this war propaganda? I don't think so, because you get cheaper war propaganda and more effective war propaganda once you're actually at war. But at this 121 political power. I mean, we do want to save that for some of this stuff here as well. Okay, so Portugal and Middle Africa are now at war. Unfortunately, Middle Africa is not led by Goring anymore, so our dreams of a collapsing Middle Africa are now dead. Which is very sad. I would really like to see them collapse, because it only benefits us. But we should see a Russian-French invasion of Germany happen at some point. But Middle Africa, 12 to 24. Portugal has a decent army as well. They should join the Entente once they actually lose against Middle Africa. I mean, I guess they could theoretically win, but I have my doubts about that. So in 60 days, we'll develop our steel in Natal, which should give us a pretty secure steel production for, I think, the rest of the games, to be honest. Do we need anything here? 153 days. You know what? You're actually not that expensive, and you don't require us to build anything new with our factories. So you seem like a good first choice. Now you're all cores, right? You're mostly cores except for, looks like, the British colonies, which I guess makes sense. The Dutch Revolution. Fantastic. You're going to elect a new assembly. Well, Germany, will you invade them right away? Maybe. Are you going to turn into the, what is it, the Botvian Commune? Canada has enacted the War Measures Act. Indonesia has become independent with Borneo. Germany's Asia actually took a couple of territory from them, which is unfortunate for us, but it is what it is. The question is Germany going to invade the Dutch? And right now, it doesn't necessarily look like it. You're going to elect a new assembly. How do you join the Internationale? I'm not too sure. Is it somewhere else in here? Aftermath of Black Monday. Recovery from Black Monday. No, I'm guessing it's probably just in their, like, decision tree or something like that, so we won't worry about them too much. Of course, Portugal, unsurprisingly, is losing their war in the colonies. But again, with our 5 divisions, it worries me a great deal that we won't be able to effectively field an army in time to actually invade Middle Africa. I'm trying to think. What we want to do... Well, I guess it depends on what Germany takes from Portugal. If they take all of the colonies, that's probably the worst case situation for us. Division speed plus 10%. I think for like the first time, we might want to take that. As in, no, we're going to go for the max entrenchment. Which should make our soldiers like pretty effective in kind of maintaining some defensive lines, which I feel like as South Africa we probably want to do. About a year for you, which I think is a little bit too expensive. Let's go for some land doctrines now. And you guys have formed the Zili clique. Is there another faction that's formed in China? Not quite yet, but I think just the Qing and League of Six provinces at this point should be pretty powerful to take over the rest of China, depending on how things go. You've now joined the Internationale. Again, what we really want is we want the CSA to win their war. I cannot right now. I cannot afford to send troops there because the war in America is way more touchy than the war in Indochina. The Indochinese war is very, very, very easy to win. But the war in the United States, much trickier. You declare war on the Hunan clique. Yeah, so you're just going to try to claim as much territory as you possibly can. And you guys are now at war with each other. I've never actually... Wait, Flanders went independent? I have never seen Flanders declare independence. Oh, very strange. The Hobbit or There and Back Again. George Allen and Unwin Publishing House has put out a new book by British emigre J.R.R. Tolkien, who returned to South Africa following the revolution. It tells the story of Bilbo Baggins, a strange small creature called the Hobbit, who goes on an adventure featuring wizards, dwarves, giants, goblins, and a fire-breathing dragon before returning home a wealthy man. The tale has already received widespread criticism, acclaim, and widespread critical acclaim, and Tolkien has been nominated for literary prizes. There have been hints that he's working on something larger and longer, but the author's notorious perfectionism might well delay its publishing. A delightful little story. Fantastic. So Tolkien has arrived back in South Africa. To be honest, I didn't even know that Tolkien was from South Africa. You learn something new every day. We want to end all pass laws. Stability goes down, construction speed. I mean, we're going to lose some penalties right now, but you gotta take some penalties before you can get to the good stuff. But I think that for right now, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is Anthony. If you've enjoyed, my thumbs up. And not enjoy, throw a thumb down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.